Let's play some Mage Knight. It's been a little while since I've done one of these. As a reminder, this game has already been played, and I am simply replaying it to try to analyze it for my own education as well as entertaining myself and hopefully you. Let's get right to it. We are playing Volkare's Quest with Arythea. If you're not familiar with Volkare's Quest, he starts up here on his little camp, and he treks his way down based on what he draws from his dummy deck, ultimately trying to get onto and escape from this portal right here. We have to try to bulk up, get as strong as we can, and then attack him before that happens. And he's going to have a whole bunch of units on his side. We are playing at Heroic and Fair. Fair being the pace of the dummy deck, and Heroic being how many enemies are here in his little army. So, got all these orcs, got some Draconum, got some Keep Garrison as well as City Garrison. Things I like about Volkare's Quest, I like the fact that you are a little more at your own pace, and you really just want to get as strong as humanly possible before he gets down here and you have that big climactic last battle. Things I don't like, I don't like that you don't really ever do much with the core tiles. Your main goal is to basically just explore one to try to get the advanced units into the offer, but you're never really going deep, probably even past one or two of these tiles to try to do something in the gold one. So that's something I don't necessarily like. Other thing I don't like is it does turn out to just be one big battle at the end. Versus solo conquest where you kind of get two large battles, so it's broken up a little bit. So, some of your choices are dictated a little bit by that large battle. Because this is not a city fight, he's not fortified, so I also like that the value of ranged units and siege units goes up. Let's take a look at the offers. We have Utim Guardsman, in a keep, and a village illusionist in a mage tower and a monastery. Herbalists are in a monastery and a village, and thugs in a village and a keep. We do have a monastery on the board that has regeneration. Really like this card. Really love readying units. Since the dummy is going to be the Norwa skills, maybe we'll have a chance to get what's the name of it? Bonds of Loyalty, which is a phenomenal skill. And readying units gets even more valuable, obviously, with that. Advanced actions, we have Heroic, we have Heroic Tail, Diplomacy, and Firebolt. Two influence cards. One, okay card. Obviously, crystals are good, and ranged attacks are good. I do tend to need a lot of red crystals, typically, with Arythea, so that's not necessarily a bad thing. On the spell side, I think a little bit better. Wings of Wind is great, especially in this scenario where once you're really deep into the map and you got to trek your way all the way back, it's good to have a card to kind of help you do that. Meditation, not terribly thrilled with that early. Call to Arms, also great. A really great way to get a gold unit, especially if it's only recruitable on cities, and because of the nature of Volkare's Quest, you may not even ever see a city and or get into a city. So that's another one that I'll be keeping an eye on. All right, looking at the map and our opening hand, a couple of things that are instantly good for us. I really like that there's this village here. As Volkare gets his way back here and gets closer to the portal, we're going to want to probably camp on this this village and just pillage and pillage and pillage and pillage and try to get our hand size as big as possible. And you'll see that's in fact what we do. I think we take, I don't even know, I think it's like 5 pillage turns or something like that. This mage tower is also interesting. Again, because we've got some decent units that are recruitable there with between the illusionists and the herbalists, and we also have some fairly decent spells that we're interested in. We've got 2 rampaging orcs here, blue mine. So one potential is we can come up this way. So on this blue mine, maybe take these guys out, go into the village, recruit something, burn it down. Another option is we could go up this way, peek at this mage tower, see if it's something that we think we might be able to handle. And then, do some combination of killing one of these orcs, going into that mage tower, maybe even then going off into this village, which we could also recruit from, and maybe explore this direction. Advantages of going this route is we only have 5 movement, we get a blue crystal. These guys are a little difficult for us to take on, with our opening hand, especially because of that physical resistance and that it's fortified. Concentration, swiftness isn't going to let us do it without taking a bunch of wounds. We obviously need move to get there, but we could probably figure it out. Benefits of going this way, other than we get to peek at the mage tower, we do get a level up out of the cursed hags, as you see here. So that 3 fame would help us get a level up. Downside is we have 2, 4, 7 movement to get to here to possibly take these on the orc storm throwers, and we only have 5 movement going here with a blue crystal. But when looking at that blue crystal. And after the level up, there's really nothing in the advanced actions that I'd be able to use it on anyway, or spells for that matter. So I devalue that maybe a little bit. And also, I think that these cursed tags are a little easier to take on with a concentration swiftness type approach. So I elect to first move on to these planes. But first, we have to pick our tactics. I do in fact pick planning, and Volkare ends up picking the right moment, which is great because I get to go first. which is never bad. Here is the remainder of our deck. I like to just see what cards are left. I know a big part of the game is remembering what cards are left, but I feel like, you could write down everything you play, et cetera, et cetera. This just makes it a lot easier. And I think from an analysis of a replay game perspective, this is more interesting because we can see, okay, we still have our concentration that we're trying to pull. Our 2 influence cards are still here. Quite a bit of attack left, a decent amount of move. So I'll be trying to keep track of this as we play along. So turn 1, I'm trying to see if maybe it's possible that we pull concentration with our next card. I don't really need tranquility for anything else, and I don't really plan on taking any wounds in the too near future. So I don't like to do this generally. I'd almost rather play Tranquility sideways, but I do in fact play it, and I draw an Intimidate. Could be useful, as we have this village here. Again, going back to units that are recruitable at villages, we do have, quite a few. Also, keep in mind that the thugs do have this red crystal, which Volkare has a potential of scaring him away. I play March, Swiftness for 4 move. I want to keep this one Swiftness for concentration. Probably won't have the mana to work out to play this for ranged attack in the future. I don't really want to throw away 2 other cards to get there, like Influence or Determination. I want to hold on to Threaten, again, in case I am trying to recruit both at this monastery or at this village. So I do, in fact, play these 2 cards for 4 movement, moving me just south of the tower, and it reveals itself as the monks. Monks are a little problematic because at my only starting armor of 2, this 5 attack, puts 3 wounds in my hands, 3 wounds in my discard pile. That's, quite a bit pretty early, and they're 5 fortified. So again, ranged attack isn't a simple way to take them out. And you'll see I do actually struggle to put the numbers together to defeat this after I do what I'm going to do next, but not the worst enemy we could find. But since we got planning, we want to just hold on to these cards, and we go into the next turn. What does Volkare do? He chooses red, which is his red spell. So he's going to attack anyone within 2 spaces of him. That's a nice one to get out of the way early. We'll want to be keeping track of which spells he has actually consumed, especially as he gets closer, so that we know if he's here and he has a 2-space movement card left, that he could jump all the way here. But now we don't have to worry about his 2 attack, which is nice. And we drew a March, Improvisation, and the Concentration, which we were looking for. So that's great. Because Volkare did flip a red card, he does in fact reroll one of the dice in the source, and he did in fact reroll that red die into a gold die. I'm now going to provoke these curse tags. Mod added this cool little button. I can just push that, and it'll bring it on over. It knows that I'm going to get a reputation and 3 fame. I take care of these tags by playing Concentration with the gold die and Swiftness for 5 range damage. The gold die ends up getting rerolled to blue, and we get our level up. So let's see. Our options are Polarization and Dark Negotiation. I mean, I guess, we are probably going to recruit either here or here, most likely here. So, that's something. But not a huge fan of it, and don't really have any crystals right now. The source is pretty heavily white. We do have a lot of our attack power, which is in red, and some blue cards, which is also good. But Polarization would allow us to get some extra versatility out of those blue mana being red and white mana being green. So I do in fact take Polarization. Now for the advanced action, I'm looking between Firebolt and Heroic Tail. Heroic Tail is interesting because if I recruit a unit, I'm going to get a +1 reputation. When I was playing, or more interestingly, I guess if we power it with a white mana, we can get Fame 1 and a reputation +1. So if you look at where we're at here on the map, we've got a 4 Fame unit. We are 1, 2, 3, 4 puts us right at the very end of this level. If we did have Heroic Tail and we were able to recruit a unit using the white mana, that would tip us over into level up. So that makes that kind of interesting. But I ended up choosing Firebolt, just a little more run-of-the-mill, and try to get some crystal generation going. And it is populated by Power of Crystals. And we go into the next turn. Volkare rolled a red die. However, in the real game, he actually did not cause this unit to leave. So if you remember, they were the thugs. So you just have to, well, let's see. Maybe we can actually get them back out here just for completeness sake. They're actually removed from the game. Hold on a sec. Let me look for them. don't exactly know where they got put. But, spoiler alert, I actually don't recruit them anyway, so just remember that they're there. I almost kind of wonder if I would remove this, if that would prevent that from happening. I might have to give that a try. Did in fact remove this crystal from over here. Let's just, I don't know. We'll see if maybe that can trick it into not doing it in the future. So looking at our hand, unfortunately we just don't quite have enough power to siege this mage tower without taking 3 wounds in our hands and 3 wounds into our discard pile. We can't generate, this 5 move is what really kills us. So to be able to get onto the mage tower, really no way to generate 5 block and then as well as 5 attack. So it looks like we are going to head ourselves up this way, get this 4 fame, getting us very close to another level, and then likely going to the monastery and try to recruit these illusionists is what we are ultimately targeting. If we would have gotten mana pull, given what the source is, I think we probably would have gotten it done. We could have gotten some block here. We have range attack 3 here. We probably could have done it with mana pull, but without mana pull, just can't quite do it. So we play a March and a Determination sideways for move 3 onto the hill, and then we provoke the Stone Throwers. Now, even though we're trying to recruit, we do need to do something with this 7 attack. 4 wounds is not great. So we play Improvisation and Threaten to get ourselves move 3. Then we throw a Stamina on top of that for move 5. So now this is only a 2 attack, which gives us 1 wound. We play Firebolt with Polarization and the blue die. Polarization already coming in handy to generate a ranged fire attack 3. He is, in fact, physical resistant, but not fire resistant, and that takes care of the Stone Thrower. This blue die gets rerolled to green. And we end our turn. Volkare, once again, is trying to scare off of these thugs, who are hopefully unscarable. Now, we are headed to the monastery. We play Stamina, blue die for 4. Thought I would hold on to Crystallize, maybe I'd be able to use it next turn. We've got Promise, so we're looking better on the recruiting side. And this blue die gets re-rolled to, unfortunately, black. And that is the end of our turn. This is an interesting thing I've been having a little bit of problem with the mod, even just recently, is, see I've played a card here, but I can't end my turn. But if I put it over here in the discard pile, I can. Volkare flips a white card, which moves him in the white direction, the first time he's moved, I believe, and causing him to reroll one of the dice. And he did, in fact, reroll one of these white dice to a green die. Now, time to do some recruiting. We have completely emptied our deck. We take Mana Pull. We use the white die from the source. We take one of these green die and we set it white, getting ourselves a blue token. We set the black to blue, getting ourselves a blue token. And we play Promise, with a white token giving us Influence 4, Influence 5, Influence 6. And with our reputation of +1, that is just enough to get us the Illusionist. We also take Crystallize with our blue token to get ourselves a white crystal. Why did I pick a white crystal? Let's see. I'm guessing I picked a white crystal, purely to give the illusionist the opportunity to an unfortified enemy does not attack. If I remember correctly, I was thinking that that would help me with this, but in fact the monks are fortified, so that doesn't do me any good. However, if I do decide to pillage this monastery here, that would help me. So I'm guessing that that's why I picked up the white crystal. This white goes back and re-rolls into blue. And again, we're unable to end our turn. Let's discard one of those cards. We are so close to a level up. Volkare tries to scare off the thugs, is unable to do so. And on our very last turn, here at the monastery, I use the Illusionist for Influence 4 and heal ourselves a wound. Fortunately, that does give Volkare one more turn. He consumes his red spell, which is great. He gets to move two spaces, but at least we get that green spell out of there. Probably re-rolled one of those greens, doesn't really matter what happened because I call end of round. Now, I'm playing with a variant of Control of the Offers, I believe it's called, which basically allows me the option to get rid of one of either of these two advanced actions or spell cards. Probably makes the game slightly more easier, but it just gives more variety and lets me see more actions and more spells, which seems like a reasonable trade-off to me. I don't know if there's a fancier way to do this, but I unlock these cards and I just throw them over here, and we start the next round. So, quick recap before we start the first night. Moved our way over here, checked out that these monks were sitting on the Mage Tower, thought that it was a little too difficult to get into that desert during the day, plowed ourselves through two rampaging orcs, sat here on the monastery, did not burn it immediately, which is, I'm evolving as a person. But we're able to recruit the illusionists and heal up one of the wounds that I got along the way, and then we go into the first night. Round 2. This is a round where things kind of start to head south, and I go through a period of time that was pretty frustrating, and I remember I even thought about hanging in the towel at one point, but I persevered, and I think it turned into a pretty exciting ending. So if you want to see a little heartbreak followed by some triumph, this is the Let's Play for you. Arythea, sitting here on this monastery, ending up from the very first day, our very first round. Let's take a look at what is new in the offer. We have two things that are recruitable in monasteries, which is good. The magic familiars, which I love, red cape monks, and some peasants that are in villages. As well as the Utum crossbowmen, which are recruitable in keeps. There also is a red mana token here in case Volkare tries to scare them away. I have removed that so that we can prevent, as I'm replaying this, we can prevent the dummy from removing this, hopefully prevent the dummy from moving this unit when we don't want them to. Other things in the offer, we've got the refreshing walk, which will most likely not get and will not likely be there after we burn it to the ground. Our advanced actions, power from crystals is generally pretty good, but as you can see right now, we are nowhere near having sets of anything, so it might be useful in its unpowered up version, but definitely losing a lot of the value in its powered up version. Song of Wind, it's okay. It's movement. We don't really have any movement cards yet, since we missed out on the Wings of Wind from the spell from the first round, so that might be something we look at. And then Dodge and Weave, which is generally a pretty good card. Call to Arms, which we have held onto from the first round, still something that we would like to get. Demolish, great for solo conquests where we're sieging cities. Slightly less good in Volkare's quest, but still good. Destroying a target enemy with everyone else losing armor is always a good thing. But then there's Fireball, which is definitely the one I would like to get. Seize Fire Attack 8, Ranged Attack 5. All good, especially taking wound with Arythea. Lots of ability to have wound management. Even though you'll see in this playthrough, I rarely am able to manage wounds. Skill offer is looking great with these two high-powered, well-sought-after skills that we have there in Dark Negotiation and Bright Negotiation. Isn't that cute? Let's start off with tactics. I chose Midnight Meditation, and Volkare chose From the Dusk, so he is going first. Now, why do I only have one card in my hand? It's because I'm not sure what my initial hand was, but I know it was I want to destroy this monastery, and I know that my hand was so bad for me to pick Midnight Meditation to dump it all and keep Tranquility. Since I was pretty sure I was probably going to take some wounds. Looking at the source, we have blue mana, which I can use for red, which is kind of helpful. I can use red mana, which I can use as blue, which is a little less helpful, and black, which I don't have any spells currently. But no green or white mana to help us with Tranquility. But I decided to hold on to it, used Midnight Meditation, pitched 4 of my cards, and redrew an existing 4 and got this hand. So Volkare's actually already taken his first turn. He pulled a wound. He did not roll a die that would get rid of our Utum Swordsman over here. So it is to us. And we are, in fact, going to burn this monastery down. And we come across the Fire Mages. I was a little frustrated right off the bat because with Determination and a blue die, I can come up with block 5. Let's say I pitch this Threaten to get block 6. It's Fire Attack, so I need 12 block. So no way to block, and then to come up with 5 damage, 5 attack. Slightly less difficult because I had Battle Versatility. So with really no other way to solve it, I take 3 wounds to the face. I play Battle Versatility, red die, and Threaten. For attack 4, attack 5, which kills the Fire Mages. I then use Tranquility and our white crystal, unfortunately, with Polarization to heal up 2 of our wounds. And I discard Determination. With this wound stuck in my hand, I want to be able to draw a few more cards, and I really need to get exploring. I haven't explored any tiles yet, so wanted to see if I could see something else other than Determination. The red die is re-rolled gold. Okay, and let's end our turn. First thing, I get my rewards of an artifact, which is the Emerald Ring or the Mysterious Box. I don't think I've ever taken the Mysterious Box, and the Emerald Ring is pretty good. Endless source of green mana, endless source of black mana. As you will see, this ring is pretty incredible at the end of the game. I do, in fact, take the Emerald Ring. And we've gotten our level up. So we are now level 3. Get ourselves a little bit more armor. And Volkare goes. He draws a green, which moves him one more step into the green direction, and he also rerolls a dice. And he rolled the gold die, gold again. So first thing we want to do is reveal some tiles. We play Stamina, the blue die for 4 move. We reveal this tile right here, and we have 2 move left. With some orc trackers sitting on top of this hill. A magical glade right here, which could be interesting for these magic familiars. I play a stamina and a swiftness for 4 move and 6 move. And I move 3 onto the hill and 3 onto the desert. Now, kind of a bummer, I just didn't maybe stop here and get the green crystal. I was trying to decide if that was worth giving Volkare an extra turn for. Because I have no crystals and because I have no green mana, and I have no white mana in the source either, I do have an emerald ring. I just decided to move on and head down here in the desert. I want to take out these monks because I really want to get this fireball. I also play my emerald ring to get myself a green crystal and a fame. Getting close to next level up. I re-roll this dice blue. It returns back to the source. And Volkare does not have any effect on the Utum Swordsman. I play Swiftness and Mana Pull for 3 move to assault the Mage Tower. I think I was pretty annoyed at this point that there was just really nothing for me to do. These orc trackers. I mean, I guess I could have got a level up out of it and then, seen if there was anything else. There was this village I could have gone in exploring, but instead I really had my heart set on taking out this mage tower. So I used, 6 movement to get down there. And then I take 2 wounds to the face and 2 wounds to my discard pile. This is not great. Now, my notes actually said that I had discarded Crystallize and that I actually had Firebolt in my hand. So, not 100% sure what happened with that, but this should be correct. I play Firebolt, blue die, Polarize, and a Rage for 3/5 attack, killing the monks. Very expensively killing the monks. Blue die gets re-rolled into red. Where did it go? To red. And I go to take my combat rewards. I take Fireball, of course. And, I mean, I do have a lot of wounds, and so, this Ritual of Pain is kind of tempting, but, man, it's just like these cooperative skills, and I don't know, it's a lot of words. So, but you can, I don't know, I don't know when I never don't take Motivation. And I draw one of Norwas's motivations, so who knows, maybe I'll go dually Motivation, and as you'll see later, I actually do that. Also, advanced action, what do I take? Power of Crystals is sort of the same reason that I'm not too excited about it before. Song of Wind, because I really could use some movement. I burned a lot of movement coming this way. I haven't explored much. I need to get moving. And Dodge and Weave. And, Dodge and Weave probably, if, looking at, the rest of the turns where I just always seem to be just like a little short, Dodge and Weave probably would have helped me more. I don't really seem to get almost any use out of Song of Wind through the entire game, but I do in fact take it. And that's the end of our turn. Volkare, he goes to attack no one in particular. He did reroll the red die, and according to my notes, the source should be blue, black, black, gold. Now, at this point, I probably should have rested and just, sucked it up and moved on. Instead, I chose to play Song of Wind and go to the village. Also, part of the problem is because I have 2 wounds in my discard pile. So putting, 3 more in there may... I don't mind wounds, but that starts to feel like a lot. And while I'm on the town, there is 3 influence to get healing, in addition to pillaging. Then, with 5 cards left in my deck, I flip Promise, draw 2 and get a red crystal. This is very highly suspect. And I end up playing... Again, I was actually trying to pull influence here. I play Promise plus the green crystal plus the polarization to get influence 4. I spend the illusionist for influence, another influence 4, so now I'm at influence 8. I play Fireball for 9, and I end up healing 3 of these wounds. The fact that I had those 2 in my discard pile, I don't know, I panicked. I didn't know what else to do. So, didn't even use this token, and burned my best attack spell, burned a green crystal, used a unit, all to essentially pay for it, taking out this mage tower, and this very expensive monastery burn. So not ideal. Now have Volkare goes, pulls a red card, tries to attack something, nothing in the source to reroll. This die got rerolled to a white when it was returned. Oh, sorry, no, it was in fact blue. Played Improv, that blue die with polarization. Again, thank goodness for polarization. Plus discarding the concentrate for move 5. And I reveal a very expensive forest and some not very exciting orc warbeasts, which don't really help me too much. And, using a concentration to move, always a sign of a lot of progress happening. So with 3 move left, I play March for now a total of 7 move. I move into the forest. I don't want to spend resources to attack these orc warbeasts, and not to mention I don't have the resources to spend to attack the orc warbeasts, and I don't want to deal with them next round. So I go to these plains here. The blue is re-rolled to white and returned to the source. End my turn. Volkare. Ah, man, it caused him to flee even though I removed the red token. Okay, that's good to know. He did in fact not cause them to flee, but it doesn't matter. I wasn't able to get them anyway. Wasn't able to recruit any units this turn, even though I had an open command token. And I call end of round. Now, I believe, at least I'm pretty sure, that I left both of these cards into the offer under the control of the offers variant. Let's quickly recap. End of round 2. Started here on this monastery, burned it down, took a lot of damage, got myself a green emerald ring, went right by this mine, went into this mage tower, took a bunch of more wounds, limped my way into a village, only to spend about half my deck healing, and then proceeded to go through a forest at night and come out and sit on a plains for the next round. So, yeah, not a great round. I'm not feeling great. And, starting to think, well, maybe this isn't the run for me, but I soldier on. Round 3, beginning of the second day, and we're struggling a little bit. I think my main frustration is there just hasn't been a whole lot for me to do. I mean, there's really only been 2 adventure sites to really generate fame. I mean, I guess I had this little guy down here, and possibly this ancient ruins that I could have gone back for, but nothing in the forward progression. This guy isn't worth a whole heck of a lot. And my biggest concern right now is my fame. I'm sitting at 16, and I think a good rule of thumb is to try to get past 48 before you take on Volkare. This is where you get an armor of 4, which is super helpful, and then you also get your 6-card hand size here. So definitely on this round, I need to get to a 6-card hand size, and I need to reveal a core tower, a core tile to try to get some good units coming into round 4. So definitely feeling a little behind, and let's see what we can do. But first, let's check out the offer. Unit-wise, we've got the Herbalist Shock Troops and Newton Guardsmen. These, let's see. 2 of them can be recruited in villages, 2 of them can be recruited in keeps, 1 in a monastery. And we don't have any monasteries available. We are sitting on a village. And so I'm thinking maybe it might be possible to get these Utim Guardsmen before Volkare scares them away. Advanced actions, we've got some pretty decent ones. Dodge and Weave, Chivalry is always a really good card. Swift Bolts, not the worst. Spells, pretty much all movement. Misform, Space Bending, and Underground Travel. Misform can do some nice things if you have some really good units. They gain all your resistances. They can soak a bunch of wounds. But need to get some attack power. Right now, Fireball is kind of the only attack upgrade that I've been able to get. Well, let's check out our opening hand. We've got Swiftness, March, Crystallize, Rage, and Threaten. So I do think I want to take a peek and see what's going on here, and then maybe try to recruit in this village. I should also say, so far I've been kind of frustrated with the Illusionists. Their target unfortified enemy does not attack. The unfortified part has been a real pain. I don't know if you remember when I was talking about getting a white crystal here in the first round. I was thinking, well, these guys are fortified, so I can't use it, but maybe I'll use that white crystal and use those illusionists to help me with the monastery. Well, of course, enemies or your units can't help you when you burn down a monastery, so he's not helpful here. Hasn't been helpful here. Uh, he's really only good against things that are not in an adventure site. So maybe the right kind of dragons, but there's fortified dragons too. So a little bit unimpressed with the illusionists to date. So we start out by playing Swiftness for 2 move, allowing us to reveal this tile, which reveals a keep up here behind a wall and a maze. So I guess giving us a little something to do. This maze is probably attractive. I mean, maybe the keep. Super annoying that there's a wall here because once again I can't use the illusionists. Won't be able to anyway because obviously they're in a keep. But before that, I try to decide to get these. Where are they? These guys, Utim Guardsmen. But prior to any of all this, we need to have chosen our tactics. I chose Mana Steel, Dummy chose Right Moment, and I stole the green die. Source is sitting at blue, blue, black. So I flip Motivation to try to get a couple more cards to help me get those Guardsmen. I end up drawing Improvisation and a Wound, so I play Improvisation, blue die, Polarization, discarding Crystallize, playing Threaten with the red token, which is going to lose me a reputation, and giving me a total of 5 influence, 10 influence, which is enough to not only get the Utim Guardsmen for 5, I do have a -1, so they cost 6. And then while I'm here at the village, I can also heal. So use all my influence, get these guys, and heal up my 1 wound. This die rerolls to white, and we go ahead and end our turn. Volkare flips a wound, and he did in fact roll red. However, we were able to snag that unit before Volkare was able to chase him away. Woohoo! Start off this turn by plundering, moving my reputation down to a respectable -3. I play March with my green stolen mana to get move 4. I move myself up the plains. I play Stamina with a blue die for March of 4 to get myself onto the maze. This die gets rerolled black, and this one gets rerolled. So the source is not great, but not awful. Volkare tries to attack someone, is unsuccessful. He does reroll this gold die, however, and he rolled it to a white. Now, I'm not really sure why I ended my turn there. I wasn't able to draw more cards, and I don't really do anything that allows me to draw more cards at this point. So I think I just gave Volkare a free turn just because I'm a nice guy. But I do want to enter this maze and see if I can get an artifact. Oh, quick note. When I revealed this token, this guy should not have been revealed. Come up next to him, now he's revealed. I take Mana Pull and a white die. I change the black to blue crystal. I change the black to red. Token. Blue token, red token. I play Stamina with this blue token to get move 4. Play Swiftness. Here's my move of 6. And head on in to the 6th level of the maze. Now, in a maze... Where are you at, maze? Yep, I can only bring 1 unit with me. And I choose to bring the Utim Guardsmen because the illusionists are my friends. And I take on a... Well, really good news is their 4 attack with swiftness. So the Utem Guardsman can simply block and completely take care of his attack, which is awesome. Then I play Battle Versatility, Red Token for attack 4, plus Rage, attack 6, taking down the mana. Let's go back into the source without being re-rolled. This gets re-rolled to blue. My turn. Because I did the 6th level of Maze, I am able to take an effect. I get a Sapphire Ring and Circlet of Protection. So I already have 1 ring. Rings are always great. But, at this point, replaying this, it doesn't seem like I should have been as frustrated as I remember being playing this. But I remember going, you know what, I've literally never taken Circlet of Proficiency in all the times that I've ever played this game. And it's sort of interesting because Norwas has a motivation skill here, and Circlet of Proficiency lets you use any non-interactive skill. I'm assuming interactive skills are these guys with the little white heads, the cooperative skills. Non-interactive skill in the commons offer, including your own, as if it was your skill. If it was a skill usable each turn that does not flip, then use its effect twice. So I do in fact take Circlet of Proficiency, and you're going to find, I think, the way that I found, it's actually pretty good. So we are sitting here getting closer to our 6-card hand size, which is oh so important for this 3rd round. Volkare flips green, and it's just green all the way over here. Keeping track of, he has used his green and his red spell, so we've got 2 spells out of his deck so far, which is great. And looking at the composition of his discard pile, pretty blended between wounds and non-wound cards. So I'd say he's moving along at an average pace. Next turn. So I realized as I was here on the maze that I can't reveal this core tile because it is not touching 2 other tiles. I have to reveal this one first. I don't think it would have changed my mind to go to the maze or not, but I realized, oh man, I can't reveal this one. So I actually need to go back through the plains and the desert in the middle of the day to try to reveal this one. Again, I always just feel like 1 step behind in this game for some reason. I decided to leave these guys alone, basically because my hand doesn't really have anything to take them out, and revealing a core tile I think is a little more important with what I do with the rest of my time. But my fame is still a big concern. I really just have not killed many things. So I start off, I do play a Circlet of Protection, and I do in fact use Norwas' skill, giving me a white token, 2 cards. Pretty slick. I play Song of Wind with this white token, which is going to give me move 2, and it's going to reduce the cost of plains, deserts, and wastelands by 2. They can go all the way down to 0. And if I want, I can move through lakes with a blue mana. Then I play March with a white die and Polarize. Polarize has really bailed me out with my poor source, which never seems to include green, for a total of move 2, 4. I move to the plains for 0, to the deserts for 5, or excuse me, the deserts for 3, and I reveal this tile here. Oh wait, yeah, equally a problem. I gotta reveal this one first. So same reasoning why I can't do this is the same reason I can't do this. But I do in fact reveal this because I have 0, 3, and 5. I have 2 left. Now that I have revealed this and revealed this keep here, I do in fact flip this. And I've got a Draconum behind a wall, Mage Tower up here, which is, not that sad because I'm not terribly in love with any of these spells right now, and a Labyrinth up here, which could also be handy. This camp here could be good to recruit from. This is interesting, but unfortunately it's in Wastelands, and I already have such a horrible reputation. So I finish off this turn by applying Tranquility, getting rid of my wound, which I believe is all of my wounds healed at this point. And I don't know, but this map just feels weird. You get all these mountains lined up here, the weird lack of adventure sites. It almost feels like I usually play with the random rotation of the tiles, and it almost feels like a map you get with that, where you can see these kind of really crazy combinations of impassable terrain. The white is re-rolled white. Volkare tries to scare away a unit that doesn't exist anymore. And what I decided to do is actually now jog over here to the right to take out these thugs. I only need 2 fame to get up to the next level, so as much as I don't think that's great, I think it's a better option than trying to get my way into here. Unfortunately, because he's fortified, my lovely illusionists are not terribly helpful again. And I also believe at the end of the last round I had discarded determination. So I had drawn up my entire, and I'm not 100% sure why I discarded determination, but my notes definitely say that I did, and that this was my final hand, so I must have in the turn before. So I play concentration with promise again, because the only way for me to get green mana is to use this white die. If I use a die, I guess I can get green mana from here, which would give me ranged fire attack 3, but I can't attack in the ranged phase anyway. And I can use this red die for the same thing, ranged fire attack 5 anyway. So I just dump these 2 for movement. I move in to assault the keep, guarded by the thugs. I get a -1 for the assault, but a +1 for the thugs, which is nice, and the help I can get. Again, can't use my illusionists because they are fortified, so I have to figure out how to deal with this 3 brutal. At this point, I'm just so annoyed with the illusionists. I'm not really sure why. I don't think they deserved quite the annoyance that I was giving them, but I used them. I took a white crystal, and then I wounded them. They have. He's going to be doing 6 physical attack. He's going to reduce that to a 4 because of his 2 armor. Then he's going to reduce it again and take a wound. There's kind of 2 attack left, and I'm going to end up taking 1 wound to hand. I play Fireball red die to take him out. I play my Emerald Ring. Green mana token, green mana crystal. I think I'm actually reading this for the first time that you get both a token and a crystal. I think I was just giving myself a crystal. Huh. Not really sure why it says I'm only gaining 1 fame. I should be gaining 2 fame for the thugs and 1 fame for the Emerald Ring. Right? Am I missing something there? Only wants to give me 1 fame for them. Huh. And I play Firebolt. Get myself a red crystal. The red was to white. Jeez. Sorry, mod. I end my turn. Level up. Do now get my 6-card hand size, which is great. Volkare moves in the blue direction for the very first time, and he does re-roll one of the dice. I think he re-rolled it gold, actually. Comes to my turn. I don't have anything to discard, so I just call in for round. Okay. A better round? Well, let's see. We started off here on this town, came up this direction to the maze, successfully went in the maze, got our circlet of protection, proficiency. I want to keep saying protection, which never used before, so that should be interesting. Came up here to this desert, looked at 2 different tiles, decided not much to do with either of them, sidestepped over here into this keep, and now we are headed into round 4. So improved my fame situation slightly, but still at 25 fame, and I've got a long way to go. I mean, I'm only halfway there, and I'm entering into the second night. So definitely feeling like I need to try to start, killing some high fame people. If you just total up what's on the screen right now, there's 9, there's 14, there's 17, and there's 19, and assume these are maybe 4 each. So even if I killed everything that's on the map currently, I would still barely make it to 48. So I need to figure something out. Volkare's moving along at kind of a normal rate. I'm glad that he pushed himself way over here to this side. It would be super annoying if he was coming this direction. But I'm moving into the night, so these deserts will be a little less of a hassle. And yeah, we'll see what we can do. I don't throw away any of the spells or advanced actions. Space bending I left in there. I don't have a great movement card yet either, so I'm thinking, well, it's not the worst in the world. I don't know, looking at it back again, I probably would have gotten rid of it. I don't really see getting this, but you never know. I always think the time bending seems like it would be super great, but I don't know that I've ever actually successfully pulled it off in a way that felt real great. And let's move on to the next round. Round 4, beginning of the second night. A couple weird things from my notes to go over here real quick. First of all, my notes that I had an extra red crystal. And I'm not 100% sure where that came from. I'm just going to set it aside over here to see if, either I made a mistake in the replay and didn't get myself a red crystal, or somehow I magically got an extra red crystal. I'm just going to set it over here just in case. We'll see if it actually matters that if I had it or not. Second is, coming out of the last turn, it said my reputation was -3. My note said I was at -2. So retracing my steps, I killed 2 rampaging orcs, 1, 2. I burned a monastery, 1, 2, 3. I assaulted a mage tower. I played a threaten for a -1 reputation when I got the Utim guardsman. I pillaged. Let's see, where are we at? I assaulted the keep, and then I killed the thugs. So I do think that 2 is correct. Anyway, that's what my notes said. Hopefully it's not -3, because it would make a difference, especially in this next turn. So I'm sitting here on top of this keep, increases my hand size. I was able to get, basically squeak by to get my level up to get my 6-card hand size, and I also was able to reveal the core tile. So we have some gold units on the offer for the first time. We have heroes, which extra burdensome that I have to recruit them, doubling my reputation penalty. So as it sits right now, assuming we're at -2, which I'm going to say is correct, we would need a 13 influence to get them. The fire mages, unfortunately, are in mage towers and monasteries, and the only mage tower we have is way up here behind this dragon summoner and this wall and this mountain. Rather not, spend my resources just to get another silver. I really want to try to get a gold, especially, again, I feel super behind that I'm trying to get to 40. So I do decide to go for the heroes, even though I'm not really sure how I'm going to pay the influence. It's only during assaulting, so, looking at the map, I'm like, well, this is not an assault to kill this guy, and it is an assault to take on Volkare. But, hopefully I can at least, potentially use it for this Dragon Summoner. Picking tactics, well, actually looking at our hand. So the reason why I decided that the heroes might be a good thing to do for right away is I did draw my Threaten, and I do have Circlet of Protection, my favorite card. And I could use the Circlet of Protection with this Dark Negotiation that I was making fun of earlier to give me a +3 influence at night, and it is in fact night. So I went for the bold play of choosing Preparation, while Volkare chose Mana Search. And I prepared Promise. Volkare has in fact already taken his turn. He pulled a wound, and he did not roll to get fire mages. And let's try to get those heroes. First thing I do is I flip Motivation, red token, draw my 2 cards. Got the red token because I knew I'm going to be using Threaten. I also need the white die for Promise, and don't really want to use any of my crystals. I do in fact play Threaten, red token, which will give me a reputation at the end of the round. Promise, white die, to an influence of 9. And if you remember, I need to get to a 9, a 13. Circlet plus Dark Negotiation. Now, because Dark Negotiation is not one that flips, I actually get it twice, so +6. So 5, 9, 15 influence allows me to claim the heroes. Good thought. This die, this die gets rerolled blue, turn to the source. Care. This is his blue spell. Gives himself 2 spaces. But good thing is, we now know he has used his blue spell, so we have 3 of his 4 spells are gone, which is actually pretty good. I'd get all those out of the way early. He also rerolled that blue die into the blue die into a red die. So now I've decided I got to get some fame. I've gotten units, that's all great, but I'm halfway through this round already, and I still really haven't killed anything. I'm powering up, which I guess is something, but I gotta get some more fame. So I decided I'm gonna go up here and take on these Dragon Summoners. I feel okay doing that because being 2 spaces away, he has used his red spell already, so I'm not worried about him leaping over and attacking me. I play Stamina and Crystallize for 3 movement. Myself up to here. Before killing the summoner, I decide to reveal this tile. Do that by playing Stamina. And I can now reveal it because it is touching 2 other tiles. And it's the Green City. Bordered by a lake and a mountain, and a forest with a not terribly high value unit. So I doubt I'll even be touching foot in this tile, but, I thought maybe there might be something I could kill over here a little more easy. So I revealed it just in case. I now provoke. We are going to get 2 reputation. He summons 2 brown units. Which isn't going to really matter because I play Fireball. We'll use this red crystal because I'm not sure about this one. With a black die for siege fire attack 8 and taking a wound. He is physically resistant. Again, arcane immunity doesn't cover from just regular attacks, and so that is enough to kill him before any of these guys are able to attack. I play Tranquility to get rid of my wound. The black die gets rerolled black, And my 9 fame. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So close. Volkare, he moves in the white direction, so he's definitely been on the move in these last few rounds. Reputations at -1. We lost one from that threaten and then gained a couple from killing that Draconum. Yeah, what to do next? Looking at the available spells, I mean, Snowstorm is, inverse Fireball. So I definitely would like to get that. Don't really, not. I probably, should be more interested in one of these move attacks, but I really would like Snowstorm. I'm feeling like I really gotta upgrade myself as much as humanly possible. And since I didn't reveal another dragon to kill here, I decided to try to go after this Mage Tower. Do that by playing March, die, Improvisation, and Rage for 6 movement. Well, yeah, which, since it's night, I can't reveal him, so I just march on in there blind. And I reveal the Ice Golems. I block his ice attack with block 4 from the Guardsman. Kind of unfortunate the heroes weren't ice resistant. I could have just soaked up that attack. I play the Emerald Crystal. Get a token, crystal, and a thing. Pretty sure I forgot to give myself this green token, because my notes say I played Concentration with a green crystal, plus Firebolt, or ranged fire attack 5, which he is not resistant to, which is enough to kill him. Green gets rerolled gold, so the source is not great, but maybe Volkare will do me a favor and reroll one of these gold ones. You end our turn and level up. And I take Snowstorm. And I decide to take my second motivation. Love Burning Power. Invocation's okay, but I think having 2 motivations. Now, the way I understand it, I can have both. I just can't use them both on the same turn. And I really like Chivalry. Probably more than I already have 1 Bolt. I'm not really sure I need 2 more. So I take Chivalry and take Motivation. And Ice Shield comes out. And Volkare tries to intimidate the unit. He is not effective. And I decide I'm going to try to take on this Labyrinth, which is going to be fighting Draconum. I can use one of my units. And if I go to level 6, I can get an advanced action and an artifact. Obviously, the artifact is always good, and, got some decent advanced actions in here. So that's my plan, take on this Labyrinth. First, I play my new motivation. Play March. Green Crystal. Again, there's a chance I have an extra green crystal here that I shorted myself from. Let's keep it over here. I'll keep it up here, just in case. And this one is a maybe. Sorry. I play Stamina. It says I use Stamina with a blue token. I wonder if that was a mistake. Because I can't, there's no way to polarize. And I'm going to use that red die. I'm going to use the black die. Go to take on the Snowstorm. So I'm thinking, unfortunately, I think that was just a mistake, but, maybe it balances out that I shorted myself a green crystal up here. So not ideal. My apologies. I guess that's the benefit of going through and replaying is you can find all your little mistakes. And I played Determination for 9 move. 9 asterisks move. Asterisk move. Anyway, so I move on to the hills, and I pay 6 to enter into the Labyrinth. Get a Swamp Dragon. What says I play Mana Pull with a white token? Where did I get a blue token from? Huh. Ah, I know why. Just had my notes in the wrong order. Okay, good. I did not cheat. I play Mana Pull, the white token from Motivation. I take a gold die and turn it blue. There we go. I take a gold die and I also turn it blue. Oh, sorry about that. And I use that blue token on Stamina to move into the Labyrinth. These get returned without roll. Alright, now I play Snowstorm, blue token, black die, Siege Ice attack 8. I play Battle Versatility for 1 ranged attack, giving me 9 ranged attack, able to take out the Swamp Dragon before he can do anything. I wanted to play Chivalry to try to get the the +1 reputation, but because I can't make it ranged, couldn't really find a permutation to block this responsibly at least, and be able to use it. So didn't get the reputation, but no big deal. All right, the black red. Didn't need to use my heroes, which was nice. My notes don't say anything about this wound, so I'm really hoping that that I did remember to take that. I guess we will find out. Let's get our rewards. Oh, some high power action here. Tome of all spells, endless bag of gold. Because I'm just barely over onto 48, I actually did look at this endless bag of gold to say, well, maybe it's worth it just to get some quick fame. But I don't have anything I'm using influence on. And I've taken Tome of all spells before, but basically lets you discard a card of any color and then use the basic effect of a spell offer, which can be pretty powerful because you don't have to pay its mana cost. And we do have some movement and mana bolt, which is awesome. I mean, I could basically play mana bolt and then pay a mana, where normally paying blue and then paying a mana, making mana bolt really expensive. So, interesting artifact collection that I've got going on this playthrough. Another interesting thing we might have been able to do was to take that and try to buy space bending by potentially going back to this mage tower. But I think the tome was the way to go. Karastern, he actually successfully does intimidate this unit. Just gonna put it over here. Now, with the remainder of my turn, I'm thinking, okay, I did a pretty solid job. I mean, those 2 dragons really helped get my my fame up. A little bummed that I'm just 1 away from 48, but I'm sort of thinking, I need to kind of consider my path back. He is going at a pretty average pace, but he moved a lot in a pretty short period of time. He does have 3 of his 4 spells already gone, so that's good. But he does still have his white one. He could jump to here pretty fast and doesn't have too far to go. So the next thing that I do is I play Swiftness to reveal this countryside tile. I guess, Prowlers are worth 2. Beggars can't be choosers. I play Song of Wind, move on to the plains, and provoke. I use the heroes just to block 5. It's not an assault, so I don't need to pay him an influence bucks. Play Chivalry and Tome, choosing to do the attack 2 and the reputation 1, so this gets me attack 3 plus another reputation. One quick correction, I forgot to take my advanced action from the Labyrinth, and I did in fact take Ice Bolt. So, I have Ice Bolt in my hand when we started, Swiftness for the reveal, Song of Wind, provoke, Chivalry, Tome of Spells for the kill plus the reputation, and Ice Bolt to get myself a blue crystal, and that ends my turn. Now, could I have used Tome of Spells for something better than what I did? Now, these are all white cards remaining, and 2 blues and a green. I guess I could have discarded this to have access to Space Bending or Mana Bolt. Would that have done anything for me? I would have had to pay a mana versus getting a mana, so yeah, I think this was the right call. Having only white cards left kind of limited Tome of Spells this round, and I knew that when I selected it. End our turn, and get that 4 armor, which comes with having over 48 fame. Volkare does in fact keep moving. It's green. And I go ahead and call end of round. And I do in fact get rid of Ice Shield with control of the offers variant prior to the end of the round. I left Underground Travel in there. I guess I figured, maybe there's a chance I still need some help getting back. Not to mention we're going to probably see an opportunity to pick up a spell here anytime soon, unless I take this guy out. But I did, in fact, leave it in offer. And that's the end of the round. Let's review. Pretty decent night, I think. We started off here. We were able to come up this direction. We hopped over the wall here, killed this dragon, and I'm wondering when I calculate that move, if I count for 3. I have to go back and look at that. Went into this labyrinth, killed a swamp dragon here. I was able to kill the summoner dragon here, with a siege attack, and got myself the tome as well as the ice bolt, which is great. Moved on down, revealed another tile, killed this rampaging orc to get myself over to that precious level 48. So I'm feeling, a lot better. I'm feeling now. I actually, I've got Fireball, I've got Snowstorm, I've got a couple bolts. I've got some real cards that I think I can take a run at taking him on. Plus, there's not much else to do except for this possible dungeon right here. I guess there's this little monster den that I could maybe think about as well. But I need to start thinking about walking my way back here, getting on this village. We do have 2 rounds left, and preparing myself for the big final showdown against all of these units. Round 5, start of day 3. A couple things did check. I did remember the wound because it's in my opening hand, so that's a good thing. I also forgot this wall, which I used 9 move to get into this labyrinth to take on the 6th step. I'm not sure where the shield is right there. So I did miss 1 move. That is one mistake, but I also still shorted myself with green crystal. So far I think I am in the negative column for helping myself with my mistakes. Let's take a look at what units we've got. Our 2 new gold units. We've got the Delphana Masters and we got the Ultim Guardian. It's kind of sad these are only recruitable in cities, so not much I can do about that. Same with the Ultim Guardians, also only recruitable in cities. And then Illusionists and Peasants, which not terribly excited about, even though I do have an open command token. Able to pick up these heroes, which was a good add. At least I got 1 good gold unit. Advanced actions, we got Mountain Lore, Blood of the Ancients, and Frostbridge. Move. Not, a little late in the game, I think, for Blood of the Ancients, but I'm not a huge fan of it to begin with. On the spell side, Underground Travel for movement. Mana Bolt, which is great. Being able to use that with that tome that I picked up, that artifact, does a ton of work. And then Tremor, which I really love, reducing armor. You lose a little bit on the Earthquake side of it because Volkare's camp, or Volkare's army is not fortified by nature, but anyone who is in his army that is fortified will get the extra hit from Tremor. So definitely would love to pick up Tremor, which I do end up doing. And here's our opening hand. First thing I'm going to target is to try to go into this dungeon, just to try to get a little more fame, see what else I can dig up. Now, a little risky because Volkare is 1 space away. When we look at his deck, he has 1 red card remaining, so there is out of 17 cards, there's a 1 in 17 chance that he's going to attack us, which would not be great, and I would end up just running away and taking a bunch of wounds, which would be either 3 or 4 wounds. I can't remember what that rule is exactly. It's based on what round it is. But I think that's a reasonable risk to take. I just want to make sure that I go first, so I do in fact take Early Bird. Kind of doesn't matter what Volkare picks, we know that he's going second. First, I use Norwas's Motivation. Draw 2 cards, get a white token. I play Song of Wind, March, and Determination for 5. Well, just reviewing my notes, and I think this is the first kind of major error, which actually might be material. Somehow, I play these 3 cards, Song of Wind, move 2, reduce Plains, Deserts, and Wastelands by 1, March, and Determination, and I say that it gives me move 6, so obviously that's problem number 1, 2, 4, 5. Problem number 2 is, I say that it gets me to the dungeon, which 5 in the daytime, or, I need 8 move to get across this. Definitely not 5. Now, if we say I did have that crystal, and I used that, that gives me 4, 6, 7. I do, in fact, crystallize this white token a little bit. So, can't use that, which would have also done it. So maybe we'll keep track of this white crystal that I create with this just to see, how important that is. But, yeah, my apologies, getting a little late in the game. Hopefully that is the worst mistake that I make. So, somehow, I get to the dungeon. Again, there's a 1 in 17 chance he's going to attack me. I choose the heroes to accompany me into the dungeon, because if I recall, I can only bring... I can't bring anybody with me. And let's see who we get. We get the Minotaur. I play Swiftness, Gold Die, Ranged Attack 3. Use the gold just to get at it before Volkare would reroll it. Ice Bolt. Blue Crystal. For Ranged Attack. Give me Ranged Attack 6. Emerald Ring. Gets me a green token. Oh, there's a green crystal. And a fame. Again, I forgot the green token in my notes. Also could have been used there. I do in fact crystallize this white token to get myself a white crystal. Put that over here by this red one that I'm not 100% sure that I have. Or that sort of appeared on us a couple rounds ago. The gold gets rerolled black. Let's end our turn and level up. Rewards for the dungeon. I do in fact roll to get a artifact. See what we get. We have the Druidic Staff, which I swear I draw every single game. I've also going on like 20 games without getting the horn. Horn of whatever it is. The powerful horn. But Druidic Staff, every time. Or Banner of Command. I do in fact take Banner of Command, and after I select Banner of Command, I realize that its powerful effect, which is game thing 2, recruit any one unit from the units offered for free. Like, oh, sweet, both of these are recruited at cities. I'll be able to get one. Then I remember, okay, well, I can't use it for the Defana Masters because you have to use an interact action to get them. Oh, that's all right, we still got the Ultimate Guardians. So I do, in fact, take the Banner of Command. And Volkare goes. He rolls a wound, and he does, in fact, scare away my Ultimate Guardians. So now I have a Banner of Command, and can't get the other gold unit that's in there now. All I have is or peasants. Use a Banner of Command to get some peasants. So not the greatest luck there, but maybe it makes up karmically for my little movement error there. So what do? I flip my motivation, red token. I draw 2 cards. I take this swiftness, and I move next to the Mage Tower, revealing it, and it is the Fire Golems. I decide to take them on by playing March. Black die with polarization, which I can do to get a gold die in the day. Remove 4. And that is enough to assault the Mage Tower. I get a -1 reputation. I play Rage for block 2, Utum Guardsman for block 6, blocking his fire attack, his brutal fire attack. Now, yeah, it is not fact swiftness. I just had to come up with 6 block. Then I play the Tome, pitching stamina and using the red token to play Mana Bolt. And if I paid red, I get cold fire attack 7, which he is not resistant to, which is enough to kill him. Now I could have used my green crystal to kill him in the sieged attack phase with, let's see, what does it give me? It gives me siege ice attack 5, which would have just killed him outright. I would not have had to use my unit, and I could have saved myself a rage. But I don't really think I'm going to be killing anything more right now. There's really this guy left who's probably not worth it for 3 fame. And nothing really else to kill around here. So I decided that I'd rather just save my green crystal. I'm going to pick up Tremor after killing this Mage Tower, so I want to make sure that I keep it for that. I discard Fireball for that very reason. I don't really have anything else that I'm going to be killing. Just want to see if I can get myself positioned for the next round. Not to mention, because it is a ranged fire attack, these Orc War Beasts are immune to fire anyway, so it's not terribly effective against them, unfortunately. And it's not nighttime, so I'm not going to be using Firestorm. Black rerolls. Black, of course. But we can end our turn, and I take Tremor, which is great. Volkare is going to continue his move in the blue direction. Now, for what I'm thinking of doing, I need a total of 14 influence. I'm going to try to get these Delphana Masters. Wait, sorry, not the Delphana Masters. We've already determined I can't use them. But I can maybe get myself a fresh pair of Illusionists. My reputation is -3, so the Illusionists are going to cost me 10, and the Peasants are another 4. So for 14, I could replace my Illusionists and get some Peasants. Not awesome. Much rather prefer another gold unit, but take what we can get at this point. So how am I going to get 14 influence? I play Improv, red die, discarding Chivalry. I discard Chivalry because even after killing the Orc War Beasts, its additional. I think I actually might have miscalculated here because I thought that getting rid of Chivalry with that additional fame wouldn't trip me over to the level up after I killed the Orc War Beast, but I mean, I think it would have. So, possibly misplay pitching that, but I thought that maybe in my playthrough I missed one of the fames from maybe the Emerald Ring or something like that, but I thought that it would be okay to pitch it because it wouldn't matter with the Orc War Beast, but in fact, it sort of does. But I play Threaten, Banner of Command. This gets me 5, 7, 11 influence. So now I've got enough to get the Illusionist. I thought about actually trying to buy Charm first, but then maybe use its influence. But I always forget that when you buy a spell, you actually have to pay a mana. So I would have had to pay a white mana, which I wasn't required of doing. But I've got enough to get the Illusionist. Now the question is, did I hire them under the banner or not? Well, there's really kind of no reason not to. So I think I will assume that I did. Then I immediately... I can't use this token. Let's see. It says, put this card face down over the unit. Maybe yeah, okay, flip it. To go ahead and get influence 4, which is enough to get the peasants. I discard Tremor. Not really going to do anything for me. Don't really want to consume any mana for it. I guess there is green mana in the source. Maybe reduce this guy's armor. But I think what I was calculating is that I wouldn't really need it. I reroll to a blue. My turn. Volkare rolls a wound. Nobody scare away because he already did that. Okay, so I want to make sure that I end in this town so that coming into the very last round I can just go on a pillage fest, dump my reputation, but get as many cards as I can in possible. So I want to make sure that I can kill this Orc War Beast and have enough left over to get there. Assuming that I either got to go through these expensive forests or through these expensive deserts. So first thing I do is I provoke. I use a Promise and the Peasants to block 3. I use my heroes to attack 5. Again, I'm still not assaulting, which is enough for the kill. I take my Tranquility, burn off that wound. Firebolt for my... Okay. What do I do with this thing? Oh, maybe I'll just move it out like that. Anyway, I get a red crystal. I discard Snowstorm. I discard Circlet. I want to try to, I've got 4 cards left in my deck. Some movement and concentration. So concentration with the movement. The hope is I can get down to that town. And because there's 2 green in the source, regardless of what Volkare does to one of them, I will be able to use one of them for concentration, which should guarantee me I get down to that town. Let's end our turn. We can see we're right on the doorstep of leveling up. If I would have kept Chivalry, I would have made it. And Volkare does in fact reroll one of the green die, but in my game he actually rerolled the green to a green, so doesn't matter anyway. I can play Concentration, green die, Stamina, Mana Pool, Versatility for 6, 7, 8 move. 3, 3, 2. Actually, looking back at up here when I was talking about that move error, I kept thinking that forests were 5 during the day, but no, they're actually 3. So this with 3, 3, it was only 6 move. So with that green crystal, I would have been able to make it. So forget everything I said earlier. I did make a mistake, but my earlier mistake actually balanced it out. I did think about these ruins, and if I would have held on to the fireball or some of those, I could have taken them on. However, it really wasn't a spell that I wanted. Mana Bolt's great, but I'm getting actually probably better use out of it with that tome. And I don't really need underground travel. I made it all the way back to my city, and I'm not really sure what I'm going to be charming at this point. So just decided to call it here. And Volkare moves white, which is the last of his spells, putting him only 2 away from the portal. So got to be a little careful. He's getting very close. He has used all of his spells, though, so I know he can't just warp there by playing, a green, blue, or white spell. But, he's definitely getting close. And, non-wound cards. He has 5 non-wound cards. Only one of them is attack. So he's got 4 move, 1 attack, and then, several just sit there and try to be scary. I call end of round, and I do decide to take Blood of the Ancients and put it at the bottom. I leave Mana Bolt in there because I either want to get it at some point or I want to keep using it with my tome. All right, pretty good day, I think. Was able to, unfortunately, I was a little unfortunate with the unit recruiting, not being able to get another gold unit, but at least I got another pair of another pair of illusionists and some peasants, some cannon fodder, and was able to get into this level 48 and pick up some pretty decent stuff. So I'm feeling pretty good coming into the very last round to take on Volkare. Now it's a matter of just roughing up this town over and over and over again until I can get enough cards in my hand and then taking them on. Round 6, last night, confrontation with Volkare is about to begin. A couple of quick notes. I did find in my chicken scratches that I did in fact not use the token for the Banner of Command, and instead I replaced my Wounded Illusionist with the new Illusionist and then put my peasants in this open command token. I knew that I was going to try to burn that command, that Banner of Command in this round to try to get one of the gold units to replace somebody. So that is in fact how I decided to do that. So we are sitting on this village, going to get our hand size ready as much as possible. Volkare has used all of his spells, so he cannot jump to the portal. Here is my hand, and here is the units available. So unfortunately, Delphana Masters again cannot use my Banner of Command, and they're only available in cities. So my only option here is the Emotep Freezers, and they are subject to possibly getting frightened by Mr. Volkare. So I need to try to get the Banner of Command as soon as I can, before Volkare is able to make these guys run away. Tactics, I pick Sparing Power. Again, I'm just going to try to load up my hand. And Volkare went ahead and did got Long Night. So he is, in fact, going to go first. Okay, so in my game, he did not roll red, and that unit was still there. So, question is, well, they were these guys. Put them back in. I go ahead and I store a card under Sparing Power. I plunder, and I discard Threaten. Still no Banner of Command. Volkare's turn. Volkare's turn. Okay. So in my game, he did not roll red again. Hopefully, I can find these guys. Should have made a copy of them. Are they somehow in here? Where do they go? Okay, I'm gonna have to reset things. I will be right back. All right, we are back. This time, great. You know what? Give me a few of those. Okay, Volkare goes first. Just like in my game, he did not scare them away. I stored a card. I plundered. I discarded Threaten. Turn. Volkare. Hopefully we have enough copies. I store. Plunder. Discard Promise. Still no Banner of Command. Volkare. One step closer to the portal. And he rolled one of the blues white. So this guy should be white. I store. Plunder. Still no Banner of Command. Now I'm starting to get nervous because, he... Let's see, what has he got? He has one attack card. He has 3 movement cards. 4 movement. Yeah, 3 movement cards, and then 5 do-nothing cards. So I'm a little worried, if he moves, I don't want to risk having to take a turn for him allowed to be moved again. So I decide to use Motivation. And I do, in fact, get it. Whew. I disband the peasants. I play the Banner of Command. I thought about just disbanding the illusionists because I despised them so. By doing that, I get Fame of +2. Anything else that I'm missing here, and I can recruit 1 unit for free. I do, in fact, get the Emotep Freezers. Much better upgrade from the peasants. And that 2 Fame is going to tip me over into a level up. Don't have to discard anything because I played some cards. I take Power from Pain, thinking I may have some wounds to deal with. I don't really need the movement, even though just being able to get to the portal might be nice for free. But I do decide to take Power from Pain. And of the choices available, don't need a move card. A little too late in the game for Decompose, so I do go ahead and take Crystal Mastery. My first real wound management card of the entire playthrough of Arythea. I've claimed my rewards. What does Volkare do? He now tries to scare the unit away. Obviously has no effect. I will store. I will plunder. It's pretty lucky looking back that my Banner of Command did not get stuck under my Sparing Power. But it worked out. I can take this time to crystallize a red, which could be useful. I'm going to put these back over here because they were ones we weren't 100% sure about. I think this one ended up being okay because we figured out our move wasn't a problem, so it's only this crystal that kind of showed up out of nowhere. Again, that was several rounds ago, in case you missed it. This gets rerolled to a green. Volkare cares. Go ahead and because he still hasn't he's still got 2 turns to get out of there. And if I attack him and kill 2 of his units, he'll skip his turn. So I decide to store again, plunder again. Let's see, that equals now 1, 2, 3, 4. I think this is the 5th plunder. I discard stamina because all I really need is I'm going to need too terrible much to get there, and I've got plenty of other movement. And Volkare finally moves on to the portal. So now it's time to take action. Because he had a white, he does reroll the white die that was in the source. It should end up red, green, green, green. So it was red, green, green, white before. Okay, so... Oh, geez. This. It's the nighttime. Yeah, there we go. So the last round, the source was red, green, green, white. He rerolled the white to a green, so it is now red, red, green, green. Sorry about that. It's always easier in Solo Conquest when you only have 3 die, and doing replays with Solo Conquest is easier because no one's rerolling dice other than you, but the fact that he's always constantly rerolling things makes these a little harder to keep track of. But that is the source. I'm now going to claim my cards, all 5 of them, and I'm going to plunder, which got me everything but 3 of my cards, so not too bad. I'm going to use my Norwas Motivation token, draw 2 cards, 1 card left. See what it is. Why can't I find? It's not an option, and it happens to be Chivalry, which would have been kind of nice to have. It's a good attack 6, but now I have a note that it was a mistake to get rid of Promise or Threaten because I just remembered that the heroes do need to have influence paid, and I got rid of influence cards. So that would have been better to pitch something else and keep one of them. Hopefully that doesn't bite us. We will see that it doesn't. I kill these guys pretty soundly. But I use Songs of Wind and March. Remove 4. And since I'm now next to the army, I don't think he does any, like, revealing next to the army. And I do need to assault him, so I did need to play another. Over here to get them up. Volkare did, in fact, roll red when I entered into his space. So, let's see. There's a way to... no. Let's see. Their reminder tokens. Is there a way to... Let's try this. Set this to red. Doing this until I get a red. Hey! Easy. I'm sure the makers of this mod love watching these and just watch me just totally abuse their mod in intended ways. Alright, I also take the Emerald Ring, and I go ahead and crack it for an endless supply of green and black mana. And Fame +1 for each green spell I cast. So we need to remember that. So I'm just going to put this over here. Alright, I didn't in fact use this other march from popping the Emerald Ring. I just used a free green. Alright, now let's give ourselves some room here. Let's see. Here. Yeah, let's group these up a little bit here. Alright, first things first. I took Swiftness. Gonna pull. Use that token. I changed this one to white. Changed this one to... Alright, let's start with the easy guys. Orc trackers. For the range phase, I took concentration. Free green. Swiftness. So for range attack 5, 8. To kill him. Prior to actually any of that, I did Tremor, free green, free black. This is going to lower everyone's armor by 2. Or 4 if they're fortified. Play a Fireball, a red die, free black, take a wound, and get Siege Fire Attack 8. And again, his armor is reduced. Oh, I guess technically his armor is reduced by 4, isn't it? Tremor. It's 4. Okay, I think I actually assumed his armor was only reduced by 2. So at a 4, we would only need 8. He would be dead. I guess I extra killed him by taking the Circlet and using Burning Power twice, which would get me up to a 10. So that would be 5 that we would fire. But anyway, he was dead even without having to. Now, all these guys here, we take Snowstorm, blue, black, giving us Siege Ice Attack 8. Take a wound. We then take our Tome and crack it, which lets us discard a card of any color, use a stronger effect without paying its mana cost, and I discard a blue card. I discard a Stamina. I pay a free green to play Mana Bolt for Siege Dice Attack 8. So I'm now up to a Siege Dice Attack 16. And I need... So none of these people are resistant to Tremor. None of them have Arcane Resistance. And none of them are resistant to Ice. So this is a 5, 6, 8. Sorry, 5, 6, 8, 11, 14, 15. And we have 16. All these guys are dead. So only ones that are left are the Storm Dragons and Volkare himself. Volkare himself we take care of by a Determination. And now did I power up Determination? I believe actually I took this white crystal. I took this red die with, well, here. Just keep this simple. Just use organization. That gets us block 5. I need to come up with a block 6. And I come up that with Battle Versatility. So that's blocked. Now, all we have left is the Storm Dragons. Everyone else is dead. Storm Dragons, let's take a wound. Ooh. For a hot minute, I thought maybe the Utem Guardsmen could block twice against them, which they, in fact, can. But you need 8 ice block, and that would be 16 regular block. So anyway, that doesn't do it, but that's fine. We'll just take the wound. We play Heroes. I gotta come up with 2 influence. I do that by playing Improvisation and March. 2 influence, so they are grudgingly joining the attack. I use them for a Cold Fire Attack 6. Now, interesting, because it's not blocked. Because in my notes, I mistakenly blocked them with the Utem Guardsmen. Because they're not blocked, they're now to 14. So, Cold Fire 6, they're also -2 from the Tremor. So there's a 6 ice resistance left on them. Okay, so make sure this is clear. I take the wound. They have 14 ice resistance. I play 6 Cold Fire Attack, giving them... Their armor is also reduced by 2. So that's a 6 ice resistance, meaning they need resistant to ice attacks. So I can 2 between these two guys is enough to add enough attack to kill him. And I also got a rage here I could use. Then I play my tranquility, take a free green, get rid of 2 of these wounds. I play my ice bolt just to get a crystal, firebolt, red crystal. Probably play crystal mastery. I could just get all the crystals back that I've spent this turn. Instead of that, let's just get a crystal. And that's it. Everybody's dead. Alright. End turn. Missed a couple. Alright. I don't know if that means it didn't process these or not. Yeah, I'm guessing that means it didn't give us the fame for these. So 8 and 4 is 12. We are at 87. So 89, 99. Which would get us another level up. It's really matters at this point. Leveled up twice. These guys down here. All sorts of things are messed up. And we call end a round. Technically, I don't know if we get more one round. I'm not sure if it works the same. You know, I'm not 100% really playing for score, so I sort of gave up. It doesn't even want to show me the score. I did calculate the score on my own, and it was 204 points, which, you know, I'm not, you know, over 200 points in solo conquest is pretty good for me, especially when I just do the standard 5 and 8 cities. So I don't know if 200 is good over Volkare's quest or not, but so had kind of a rough, you know, middle section here, but you know, finished pretty strong. You know, between Firebolt, Tremor, Snowstorm, and an Emerald Ring, you can do a lot of work. So I guess the moral of the story is don't give up. Maybe just keep playing it out and see how it goes. Anyway, hope this was fun. Sorry, I was a little disjointed there at the end. You know, that's one of the problems with Volkare's quest is there's a whole bunch of enemies to take care of, and you know, it's one thing to do it the very first time, but it's another to try to remember and translate your notes to see how you do it the second time. Anyway, hope this was fun. It was fun for me, and we'll see you next time.